This is my industrial district, and while all of the farms are great, it's not the prettiest. So today I'm going to transform this whole place into a giant computer motherboard with a giant storage system for all of the farm items, hopper lines disguised as computer chip wiring, and a giant CPU build in the middle covering up the mob farm. But to do all this, we're going to need a lot of items, the first of which is a ton of concrete. So I have headed over to my concrete duper in the end, where I'm placing down a bunch of concrete powder so that I can dupe it up and convert it all into concrete. Let's switch these on, and I'm going to sit here and AFK for a while all of my concrete powder duplicates. And I need 17 shulker boxes of materials, so I could be here for a while. Well, it's been quite a bit of time, so let's go and see how this is done. We can turn off the incredibly noisy farm. Let's hop through and see what we have got. Now, I've got all my shulker boxes ready, so let's see. Oh, wow. Wow, this is a lot of concrete powder. So I set to work filling them up. And with that, I have all of the concrete. We have 12 full shulker boxes of green concrete powder, 3 full shulker boxes of light grey concrete powder, and a full shulker box and 2 stacks of white concrete powder. So I gathered up all of the freshly duplicated concrete and headed over to the industrial district to convert it. Now my plan was to light up and spawn-proof all of the area on the floor with torches. However, the stuff on top of the mob farm, just to be sure and to make it look better, I wanted to spawn-proof with carpet. So I was going to need to gather as much carpet as grey and white concrete. Let's then add a new farm to the industrial district. And there we go, a simple carpet duper. So we can just run around the back, flick the lever, and there we go. Begins to dupe carpet. I'm actually going to fill in the floor here a bit. And sure enough, down in this chest, we are already getting a bunch of carpet. Farm's set up to produce a third green carpet and 2/3 grey carpet. So I can just come over to my little AFK hole and sit and wait in here until all of the carpet is done. Well, I've got a bit more carpet than I needed. 2 entire double chests. I'll do a count up and put them into shulker boxes to see if I've got the right amounts. And with all the carpet collected, I could now begin to flatten out all of the area in the industrial district. Essentially, I need to remove all of the grass, sand and dirt above a certain Y level so that I can have a flat space to build my motherboard. I've got a lot of clearing to do. Well, that took a long time, but I have now cleared out all of the area. I've made a nice box here using the mini HUD mod to display the area that I needed to clear out. And yeah, this is looking cool. The next stage, therefore, was to cover all of this ground in green concrete to make the base of the motherboard. Alright then, I'm going to come over to this corner over here, not for any reason in particular, just I think it would be cool. So I'm going to come over here and work my way from this corner to the other corner. So let the green concrete placing begin. Well, that is done. The entire green concrete floor is in place. That took a lot of time, but it is now completely done. The concrete base is down, the first bit of our computer motherboard is in, and I've got to say, it is looking really cool. With the green base down, it was time to start working on both the main part of a computer and of my industrial district, the CPU, which was going to cover up my mob farm. For those of you who don't know, this is like the brain of the computer. It does all the processing, it does all the actual carrying out of tasks. For those of you who do know what it is, sorry, I know it's not really the brain. So I'm going to cover up this mob farm with a giant CPU build to go in the middle of the industrial district motherboard. So it's time to get out the concrete once again and get placing down a bunch of concrete. Put down a big green base on top of the mob farm, but it wasn't looking quite right. So I added a bunch of little grey bits coming out of the sides, which I think really helped. But now we had a new problem. The top was unspawn proofed, so mobs wouldn't be spawning in the farm, they'd just spawn on top of it. So I covered up all of the green that I wanted to be visible with carpet, which also made it a different colour on the map and stand out from the background. I added a nice grey middle, and with that, the CPU is done. As you can see, we've got the green bit on the edge, the little bits coming off, the nice silvery grey bit in the middle, just some writing, doesn't matter what that is, stuck in an Easter egg of having my name on the top, and this looks suitably cool, like that is really cool. So this is what the build looked like before, and this is what it looks like now. Wow, what a difference. Alright, well, the CPU is done and looking so good. I logged back onto the server after a quick break and lightning struck. Luckily I had replay mod on, so I managed to capture it. I then went over to kill some skeletons and lightning struck again, and this time it hit the water, which I thought looked pretty cool, so I thought I'd make a little video of it and keep it. Yeah, look at that. The next thing to cover up was the bamboo farm, because yeah, it's not the prettiest and you don't get bamboo farms in a computer. What could go on our computer that is big enough to cover up the bamboo farm? I would say a GPU, the graphics card of a computer. However, to build it, there were going to be a lot of materials to gather, the biggest of all being glass, because I wanted to encase the whole farm in white glass so that I could see it still working from the outside, even when it was covered up. It's time to get the sand dupers working. That should do the trick. Lovely. I collected all of the sand that I needed, smelted it at my base, and stained it white, which meant that all that was left was to begin placing. Using a mod called Mini HUD, which I've shown in the past, I was able to see the light level of each block and place down torches only where they were needed. With the glass in place, I was ready to move on to the top of the build. I have a nice reference image of an NVIDIA RTX 4090 graphics card, which I got from their website. I'm going to use that as the base for my GPU. So I've got a ton of concrete at spawn, sitting in the sand duper that I've just never used, so I think I'll probably go and get that, and then I can use that to build the top of the GPU. Because at this point, I realised that I didn't have a shulker and a half of black dye to dye all of the concrete, so I decided to just dupe up some black concrete instead. Thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your sacrifice. Right, well, I've got all of the black concrete now, a shulker and then another one here. So I'm going to take a bunch of this and really just get placing it in and covering this all up. With the concrete in place, I wanted to add some accents around the edges, just like in the reference image. So I headed back to spawn to grab some iron blocks from the iron farm, because I felt that they'd match the look the best. And match they did. I'm super happy with how this turned out. I also used some frog lights to make the text and also light up the build, because I've had enough trouble with mobs already. There were some cool grey stripes on the reference image, so I used black concrete powder to subtly add those, along with a grey concrete fan. And with that, another build is completed for the motherboard. And I've got to say, I love the way this one has turned out. And while I was building, I realised that we had hit the huge milestone of 1,000 days played on this server. It's crazy, we did not get nearly that many on the last season, so yeah, what an achievement. Lack of torches has been driving me mad, so let's light this whole place up. I think I'm just going to do it with frog lights and carpets. The lights are all in place. Thank goodness, the mob spawns were driving me crazy. But we have now lit up the entire place. It still looks good from above and on the map, so yeah, I'm very happy with this. That is a good job, well done. But how can we expect our computer to run at all if we don't have a power supply? What's going to give all the electricity to all of the components, that massive CPU and GPU? So I'm going to build a power supply mainly just for decoration, and I'm going to build it, I think, just over here. And I'm thinking, I might as well make it a little sugarcane farm inside as well. I already have one, but I might as well have a little bit more passively generating in the background when I'm over here. I think I'm just going to come over here and using the power of editing magic, I'm going to build the farm just like this. And there we go, there it is. I just copied a design I saw on the internet, hence it says Corsair, they're just a brand that make them. We've got some fans on the top, we've got a black concrete side, we've got some white text, and inside here we have got a sugarcane farm, which I appear to have broken some of the water, but we've got a farm. There's one other thing that a computer needs. A computer should have RAM, and we're missing that. RAM's what allows the computer to hold all of the current stuff that's going on in its memory, and I think just about here would be a nice place to build it, so let's build this with another transition just like this. And there we go. We have got 3 sticks of RGB gaming RAM. I'm not 100% sure how to think about it. I kind of, again, copied a design, and I don't know. I kind of like it, I kind of don't. I think I'll leave it. It looks fairly cool, but I don't know. Anyway, I'll think about it. But inside I put a bunch of chests and hoppers because I thought it would be helpful to have it there for some storage if we ever wanted to link some farms up to it or something. But I might build another storage system later, so I don't know. I'll have to think about that. But I reckon this looks cool. I reckon it's a good addition to the computer. There's one more thing to do before we move on to the massive storage system. This looks pretty great on the map. We've got our power supply, our RAM, our CPU and our GPU, bunch of stuff, and you can also see some farms poking out here, but I like that. It looks really cool. It looks like they're components of the computer. But I want some more stuff. I want some more stuff out here that's visible from the top. And I think a fairly simple, if time-consuming way to do that is going to be to move a bunch of these farms out into the open space from under the CPU and the mob farm and put them out here. It will be a bit painful, but I think it'll look good. And I'll leave some space for future farms, but I feel like that would be a good thing to do. That would make it look busier from above and just a bit cooler. So yeah, I'm going to begin the rather painful process of adding those all now. You don't want to watch me do that, so let's do it with another transition. Wow, what a great transition. I forgot to record it, so I had to do something with green screen. This is looking great though. I've moved a bunch of the farms. This is looking cool. And yeah, I mean, this is exactly what I needed. I added a sheep farm, a honey farm, and right over here, a moss farm, which means that this is now looking amazing, as you can see from the map. So I think it's now time to move on to the final task, which is building the giant storage system. I need to be able to store all the items that my farms are producing, and I think I'm going to dig a big hole right here and build a big storage silo underground. All of the farm's outputs are going to be connected into that storage silo, so it's very important that it's big enough. Well, that is a rather large hole. I've got a lovely big hole dug out here. Ow. Nice big hole which is pretty much covered up by the CPU from above. And right in here we're going to put some decoration and a bunch of chests. Well, I really like this design. I think it's really cool. We've got the lamps, we've got the glass. It's kind of inspired by the Silo books and TV series, which I really love. But yeah, I really like it. The lanterns look super cool because I've got a connected texture mod, and I really like the texture that it gives to the lamps. They kind of remind me of the floors at my church, actually. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I like it. I think it's pretty cool. So I think now I need to get all of the chests in. So I'm going to put a bunch of chests and maybe like some extra barrels and stuff just for kind of general storage, especially if I need to just offload some items in my inventory. Oh yes, I love the way this is looking. We have got 12 enormous pillars of chests, probably more than I'll ever need, but you never know, especially with stuff like the cobblestone farm. I don't want to ever run out. And we got some barrels on the side, as I thought we might, just for general storage or putting in some items from smaller farms or bonus farms that I build in the future. I am happy with this. I think it's looking good. So it's time to start connecting up all of the farms. By my count, I've got 10 at the minute. So I might add a couple more so that we can fill up all 12. But I'm going to go along with hoppers. I know I could do this with water streams, but I can't be bothered. So, you know, I'm rich. I have an iron farm. I have a really fast wood farm. I'm just going to connect all of these farms to the storage system with a bunch of hoppers. So without further ado, let's kick off one last time lapse. With that, the last farm is connected up. All 12 farms, because I added 2, are fully hooked up to the storage system. Added a little melon and pumpkin farm over here to make it 12. I did actually have 11, not 10. I think it's pretty cool. It's a jazzy little design. Oops. All of the farms are now connected up. This is looking awesome. I love the way that the hoppers look like. All of the wiring on the motherboard. I think that's really cool, and all the little pathways and stuff. This is so cool. I would say we have absolutely achieved my goal of what I wanted to do in this video. So there we go. Thank you so much for watching this video. It's been a ton of fun to record, and I hope you had a ton of fun watching it. I'm just going to sit up here and AFK at my mob farm and enjoy all of the items going into my new storage system. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Oh, and subscribe.